Welcome to Growing Up Boomer. I'm your host, Padre, with my co-host, Professor. And this podcast is dedicated to the life and times of the baby boomer generation. The show is loosely scripted, and sometimes we'll go down rabbit holes, and where it leads us to, one will never know. This podcast can be informative, funny, and sometimes irreverent. But most of all, we hope you find it entertaining. Hello, and I'm your host, Padre, and welcome to Growing Up Boomer. Today's episode is going to be about the things that we remember as baby boomers if we grew up in the 60s. Now, of course, the baby boomers, they range quite a bit. I mean, some of us grew up in the 70s, some came to teenage years in the 50s, but majority of us grew up in the 60s, which was awesome, okay? Now, the thing about the 60s is that it was trying times. It was a very challenging decade. Let's be honest, okay? There was a lot of negative stuff going on. We had the Cuban Missile Crisis. We had the Cold War. We had assassinations of great men. We had the Vietnam War, the Stonewall riots. I mean, we had a lot of stuff going on. But this is not that kind of podcast. I'm waiting for Professor to come back because he was, shall we say, he had the pulse of what was going on in those instances. I myself was just a nerdy kid growing up in East LA, and I'm just trying to get through grammar school without getting beat up. Okay, so we will not go into that. But before we do, you know, we always go to the, especially my age, and you living in California, they continually change insurance companies. In other words, I got an insurance company, all of a sudden they're not in California anymore, and then I got to search for another one. Well, I got one. And of course, I went to the get my wellness check, and I've been concerned because my blood pressure is pretty high. And I'm on medications, and if anybody knows Padre, they know I do not like take medications. Okay, I like to try to do things through diet and stuff like that, but no matter what I try, I just can't lower it down, so I have to do a blood pressure medication. Now, you know, because I would go in and I said, you know, I've always had the blood pressure, and this doctors have told me this, of a 20-year-old, about 120 over 75. Since I hit 65, it's been creeping up. And every time I go in to tell my doctor the ailments that I have, they always go, well, you know, for someone your age, that's normal. Okay, well, it doesn't make me feel too bad. Okay, go in with another ailment. Oh, for someone your age, that's normal. And then I start thinking to myself, you know, someone my age, passing away is pretty normal too as well. So it doesn't make me feel good. Doctors have always done things, or let me put it this way. You're looking at the biggest chicken there ever lived, okay? When it comes to pain, my tolerance for pain, depending on how close you can put your fingers together, that's my tolerance for pain. Okay, I just don't have it. No tolerance. And every time I go to the doctor, they always tell me stuff that doesn't make me feel very good. Like, for instance, I think I was probably pretty close, in my 50s, maybe late 40s, 50s. Well, I had issues with polyps in my nose, okay? Just headaches. And come springtime, oh, it was horrible, just horrible. So, go to the doctor, okay? She takes the camera, goes up my nose, and what do I hear? Oh my God! It's like, I don't want to hear that from my doctor. And then she started calling other doctors and the nurses to take a look at the camera. I guess it were so big. So I got those out. Then I started losing my hearing, probably around 55. So I got cochlears. That's how come you don't see headsets on me, because I'm direct, okay, direct wire. And so before you get cochlears, they have to do a head scan to make sure that you can do it. Because what happens with the cochlear, it's actually a small little computer that they drill a small little hole into your skull, and they put it in there, and things of that nature. Now, I get the scan, come back a week later, the doctor says, great news. He says, there's plenty of air in your skull and there's plenty of room to work. I'm going like, Doc, you're not making me feel good here. You know, I'm going like, whoa, please. Okay, but what do you say we get into our podcast? All righty. Now, when we talk about the 60s, again, I'm always the guy that always looks at positive. All righty. I mean, we already went over some of the stuff that happened in the 60s. When we get into serious subjects like that, we'll wait for the professor to come back. Okay. But for me, the first thing about the 60s was the arrival of color TV. That was big. I mean, no one would ever think of not having a color TV these days. Okay, and to make things kind of nostalgic or whatever, they filmed some stuff in black and white. Yeah, I feel like get that nostalgia stuff or whatever. But let's put it this way: TVs themselves, color TVs themselves, I think in 1958 were only 350,000 or something to that effect, or something like that. By 1962, there's 46 million. All right. This is way before flat screens. Do baby boomers, do you ever remember when you had to move those TVs, how heavy they were? I remember when they started getting into the big screens, okay, with the TVs. I remember people were cutting holes in their walls and going out to the garage because the TVs were like this thick and they wanted them flat to make a nice theater room. But I mean, they were like, I'm telling you, they were like this wide. And so you'd see a lot of people drilling or cutting big holes in there into their garages and framing it so that way they can have it. But this was a big spectacle. If you remember, not everybody had color TVs. Like, for instance, when they did the Ed Sullivan show with the Beatles, right? Everyone would gather at the home who had the color TV. And to say the least, the only thing that was colored was the introduction. The show itself was in black and white. And speaking of the Beatles, how about the British invasion, which started with the Beatles, with the Ed Sullivan show in 1964? They say 70 million people turned in to watch that episode of Ed Sullivan. All righty. I mean, teenagers were screaming, and the parents they were puzzled. What's going on? And think about the cultural shift was overnight. Remember the mop top haircuts, right? Right. The sound of Beatlemania. Right. I mean, fashion. I mean, the songs were, I think, I Want to Hold Your Hand and Yesterday. I mean, this was like the anthem of the youthful revolution, okay? The rebellion. They was the Beatles. They changed not only music, fashion, language, everything you want to know. And think about this. How about the British invasion? Do you remember any of the bands besides the Beatles? How about the Animals with Eric Burton, huh? You remember that one? House of the Rising Sun? The Dave Clark Five. Bits and Pieces. The Spencer Davis Group. Oh, they were awesome. How about Donovan? Hermits, the Hollies, the Kinks, Medford Man, the Moody Blues, the Rolling Stones, Dusty Springfield, the Who, the Yardbirds, the Zombies. I mean, these were big time during that time. I mean, so that should to bring back memories. The Who, oh man, Tommy, awesome. How about this? Speaking of those times, how about the drive-in movies? Okay. Now, when you're young, of course, you'd always go to the drive-in movies with your parents, which was pretty cool because the cars were huge back then. And if the movie was boring, you didn't like it, you'd go to sleep. You just lay in the back seat You're done. You're sleeping. Now get this. The decade of the 1960s, there were over 4,000 drive-ins in the United States. Now in 2025 of last year, there's only 300 left. Okay, but you remember they used to have and I think Quentin Tarantino puts it on every so often. Let's all go to the snack bar. And they're kind of like marching, and they have the popcorn, leading the bunch and stuff like that. But oh my goodness, I remember the flicks that I saw, and I've discussed this before in other podcasts. Okay. My dad was into Godzilla movies and into biker movies. Okay, I saw every bike up to 1968. I saw every Godzilla movie and every biker movie ever made. But it was wonderful. It just had a great time, and I loved it. The drive-in movies, you couldn't get enough. And how about the space race? Do you remember the space race with Neil Armstrong walking on the moon in 1969? I mean, that was John Glenn orbiting the Earth in 1962. Oh, that was amazing. Okay. I mean, just truly amazing. I think it's within 60 years, we learned how to fly, and now we're walking on the moon. All right. Now, the space race had different meanings for different generations. For instance, our parents looked at it as us against the Russians. Now, you can't blame them because they had just gotten out of the World War II, the Korean War. So, I mean, that was their mindset. For us, it was an adventure. For baby boomers, I mean, I cannot remember anyone that did not want to work on the space program. I myself didn't want to be an astronaut, but I would love to have been an engineer and work on the Apollo. I mean, that would have been awesome for me. Instead, I ended up in retail, but that's another story, okay? But think about this, the futuristics, and how about 2001, all these movies that were coming out that actually were very good and telling us what it might be like in the future. I mean, Tang, right? I mean, how about that, huh? Oh, and get this one. Okay, we'll all remember this as well. Music was not streamed, it was spun, right? Vinyl records and transistor radios. I mean, how about that for that decade? Okay, stacks of 45, stacks of LPs, in our bedroom. Oh my goodness. And how about making the stereo stand out of cinder block and wood? Oh man, for us, music just wasn't noise. It was a pulse of daily life. I mean, that's what we did. I mean, we just got into it. And think about rock and roll back then. Just think about it. It was amazing. I mean, you had folk music like Bob Dylan, Peter, Paul, and Mary, the Mamas and the Papas. I mean, and then you had psychedelic rock like the Grateful Dead, Jefferson Airplane, which is now, I think, Jefferson Starship or just Jefferson now. Jimi Hendrix, The Doors, Iron Butterfly. Oh, man. Surfer music, right? The Beach Boys, Jan and Dean. All those great ones. And we used to have one called Garage Rock. And you remember, like the Kingsmen, the Paul Revere, and the Raiders. I mean, that was kind of good. And this one that I liked too as well, very much, was like the blues rock. Janis Joplin, Canned Heat, Going Up the Country. How can you not like that one? The Jay Giles Band, okay? Johnny Winter. They were awesome. And then they also had one called this was all happening at one time. And you could hear all of this different type of music on the same station. How about there was another genre called rock roots, like the Nitty Gritty Dirt Band, Creedence Clearwater Revival, or CCR as they are known today. I mean, and then there was progressive rock. Okay, The Who, the Moody Blues, Pogo Harum, King Crimson. I mean, this was all done, this was all, Tommy, the first rock opera ever. I mean, how progressive is that? And then there was pop rock, kind of like bubblegum music, like the Monkees and the Archies. Remember Sugar Sugar? Oh, that was that was something. But the one that I really enjoyed, and I'll be honest with you, and my parents as well, was R&B and Motown and soul music. Okay, I mean, you know, I like Smokey Robinson, the Four Tops, the Supremes, Marvin Gaye, Sam Cooke, James Brown, Otis Redding, Aretha Franklin, Sly and the Family Stone, Stevie Wonder, Curtis Mayfield, Al Green, and even the Jackson 5, which debuted in 1969. Was that awesome? I mean, think about all of this music. You didn't have to find separate stations. Sooner or later, they all played them all. It was just an awesome, awesome time. And to go with the music, how about dance crazes? Okay, I think about Chubby Checkers introducing the twist in 1960. I mean, that set off a nationwide craze. Everybody was doing the twist. All righty. I mean, you'd see them in dance halls and high school gyms. I mean, living rooms, everywhere. Everyone was doing the twist, except this guy. Okay, I am probably the only Hispanic that cannot dance and will not dance. Okay. And how about some of the other ones? Remember the mashed potato, the pony, the locomotion, the swim, the jerk, and that's not a Steve Martin movie. That is actually a dance. The monkey, the Madison, this one was a great around Halloween, the Monster Mash, and the Watusi. I mean, these would be on American Bandstand, 9th Street West. I mean, you would see them and they would be featuring all of these type of dances. And the point being here, and this is very important, okay? And this is what sets the baby boomers different from other generations. The other generations, right, everything was formality. I mean, formality of the movement, the rhythm, self-expression was all very controlled. When the baby boomers came on, this was symbolized just free. It embodied the freedom of our generation. It didn't matter. We didn't have to have a set rules on how to dance. We just danced, okay? I mean, that was just truly amazing. I mean, I remember all of those dances and watching all of those dance programs. And the reason why I got to watch them, okay, is because my mom loved them. Before Dad got home, after I've done my homework, she'd be watching them. It was great. Oh, and how about this? Every Saturday morning, do you remember getting up early before your parents, getting a big bowl of cereal, okay, Sugar Crisp right here, sitting in front of the TV and watching cartoons, which started at dawn, okay? I mean, some of them, I like the Flintstones, Yogi Bear, Looney Tunes, all of these. We would always turn into these and we would just laugh our little tushies off on this one, okay? I mean, and all the commercials, we're selling sugar cereals like Trix, Frosted Flakes. I mean, these were staples, okay? You go to Mom, hey, I want some Trix, because Trix are for kids, not for silly rabbits. Oh, and I mean, we would watch all the adventures of these, and of course, what I want to say is that there were all kinds of different cartoons. You remember Rocky and Bullwinkle? You remember that one? I got a little bit of a sore throat, but I used to imitate these characters sometimes. Like, hey, Rocky, watch me pull a rabbit out of my hat. Deputy Dog, who was on Captain Kangaroo. Mighty Mouse, remember? Here I come to save the day. Heckle and Jekyll, the two magpies. Felix the Cat. Remember the theme song for Felix the Cat? Felix the Cat, the wonderful, wonderful cat. Whenever he gets in a fix, he reaches into his bag of tricks. Remember that? Oh, God, I couldn't. And he'd always be laughing. And his adversaries were uh, Dr. Krabby Appleton and Rock Bottom was the henchman. Oh, how about Popeye? They would show the 1930s Popeye. Hello, you're right. But I'll tell you what, my favorite cartoons were Hanna-Barbera. I was a big Hanna-Barbera fan. Now, having said that, okay, we did a podcast on the Looney Tunes. It's episode 64. Back in February 5th, 2024. So if you want to know about the Looney Tunes, tune back then. I mean, we did a deep dive into them. But let me tell you some of the Hanna-Barbera ones that I used to love. And also Hanna-Barbera is responsible for like the Surfs, the Scooby-Doo. I mean, all of those that are pretty popular now. But first, the Flintstones. Okay, this is the only cartoon to run during prime time. It was at 7 p.m. Now, this was loosely based on the Honeymooners, and it is said that Jackie Gleason was threatening to sue them. But what happened, it got so popular, he didn't want to be known as a guy that aced the Flintstones. Okay? How about the Jetsons? Great cartoon. Tom and Jerry, right? The cat and the mouse. Oh, it's great. I love that one. Oh, how about Huckleberry Hound? Remember? Huckleberry Hound. Oh, that was great. Top Cat, one of my favorites. Oh, you've got to see that one. You could probably see it on YouTube. And then the Yogi Berra. That was another one. The Yogi Berra show. Yogi Bear, not Yogi Berra, I'm sorry. Matter of fact, I have a book on Yogi Berra, and it talked about people were telling him that he should sue Hanna-Barbera because Yogi Bear was too close to Yogi Berra. I mean, but that was, I love that one, Yogi Bear. Golly, how did he go? How did he go? Hey, boo-boo. Hey, boo-boo. What do you say we get ourselves some picnic baskets? And then boo-boo. Oh, but what about the Ranger, Yogi? Oh, but my favorite of all times, my favorite is Quick Draw McGraw. Oh, and he also doubled as Kabong. Okay, and that was kind of like a Zorro type of character, except he used his guitar. And you go, kabong. And I used to do this voice sometimes in business meetings. When people would go, you know what I think? I think we ought to do this. And I go, now hold on there, Bubba. I'll do the thinning around here. Remember? And Bubba Louie. Remember Bubba Louie? Majik Wiextro. The little donkey. Oh, and then they had Snuffles, the dog biscuit. Here, Snuffles. Have a dog biscuit. oh, I love that. Oh, golly. I mean, I could go on forever. I mean, I'll be honest with you. I was watching cartoons way too long. Okay. I was way too old to be looking at cartoons, but oh, golly, they were great. Oh, and if anybody grew up in the 60s, they've got to remember the party lines. Right? Yeah, let's have a party. I mean, more than one person on the line, right? And when I say that, a different line, okay? In other words, you have to pick it up and listen because it could be somebody else talking. Then you'd have to wait till they're done, and then you talk. It wasn't 2 years where then we finally got separate lines, but basically the party lines. I mean, people learn to say, mind if I use the line? I mean, that had to be before making a call. You'd pick it up and say, mind if I use the line? And go on and stuff like that. But oh yeah, oh, that was something. And kind of like homemade fashions, right? The tie-dye t-shirts, you remember those? I mean, that was a sign of rebellion and creativity. Bell bottoms, I mean, forget the dress shirts or anything like this. This was a counterculture type of style look, and then of course that was really went against at the time, dress codes in the schools, and we'll go over that in another podcast and how strict that was. So once we got home, I mean, when we came of age, we would start dressing the way we want. There was no norms. We could put anything on. I mean, that was part of the rebellion, the revolution type of thing. Oh, and how about this? If you were young, how about family road trips? Oh man, no option. Okay, no one went on airlines. No one had GPS. Okay, we would have family road trips. You'd get in the station wagon or the car, you'd have coolers, you've got maps, and get this. And we took a deep dive into this one as well, too. It's called, I can't remember what it is, but Baby Boomers and Road Trips. It was one of the first ones we did. I think it's episode 2. I think we did it July 4th, 2022. Okay. But, think about it. And it was only AM radio. That's all that was in the car. Of course, and you listen to what Dad wanted to listen to, end of story. I mean, gas was cheap. Roadside diners, gas stations. And one thing about gas stations back then, you never, ever wanted to go to their restroom. Okay? Some of them were, oh my goodness. Yikes. Okay. So, but yeah, listen to the episode 2 and I'll tell you about some crazy road trips we've all taken. But, since you're on the road and stuff like that, there were like soda fountains and diners. I mean, this was big time where kids after school, we would get together and go and congregate there. And remember, they all had like the checkered floor and, I think they have a good look of what it looked like in the movie called A Blast from the Past. And then it kind of starts off just really like the jukebox and that type of thing. And as it progresses, it ends up to be almost like a biker bar. But it all started off just as one of those diners or soda fountains. It was big time. Oh yeah, So that was good. And of course, we always had neighbors games, right? Excuse me, I'm sorry. We always had neighborhood games. Okay. Now we went over this, I think in episode 5. It was called Child's Play Baby Boomer Style. We did this in 2022, about July 15th, about episode 5 on that one. But this is before video games. We went outdoors. Okay. And I remember I was living on this street called San Pablo, and Lincoln Park was just down the street. Okay. So we would all go to the park, and this is near nighttime, just when it's starting to get dark, and we would play flashlight tag. Okay. One person had a flashlight, but of course we had a 5-1 that the batteries were good. And then everybody would go there. And at a certain time, we would try to come back through the streets, hiding from the person with the flashlight. And if they caught you with the flashlight, then you were out. But that was great. I mean, that was the ultimate freedom for us. I mean, we were unsupervised. We were going all kinds of stuff. Okay, yeah, you get on your bikes and you just ride. I think about that. Oh, we wouldn't do that today. Oh, no way. Oh, how about homemade meals and Tupperware parties? Okay. Meatloaf, jello mold. What else? Green bean casserole, all of this stuff, all family meals. Okay. For me, for our family, the best Mexican food my mom, golly, she did all kinds of great stuff. I mean, enchiladas. She'd make tacos. I mean, the tacos were they were the envy of everyone. I remember one time when I worked for this company, I did a lot of traveling, and I'm always in the office, and I'm in the office about 7:00. I'm trying to get everything going because I'm still calling the crews to make sure that everything's okay and that they left and stuff like that. And then all of a sudden I get a call. And it's my mom. I said 7:00. And she's going like, oh, Mijo, when are you coming home? I said, whoa, Mom, I'm a grown man. I'm 45 years old, okay? I just happened to be, when I lived in Northern California, whenever I came to Southern California to work in the office, because my job was basic, I said, don't, because I was, when it came to companies' assets, I was very, very frugal with them. I said, don't bother paying for a room for me. I'll just stay with my mom. Okay. and she'd go, oh, when are you coming home? And I tell her, so I made tacos. I'll be right there. Okay. And there would be a dozen tacos sitting for me. And I went from 185 to about 210 when I was down here. But oh yeah, just the food was just fabulous. Oh my goodness, I can remember that. Oh, full breakfasts. Oh yeah, that was the way to go. And this is the other thing too. Once, maybe once a month, maybe once every 2 months, you would be treated to fast food, like McDonald's. Remember, a whole meal was like 25 cents. Okay, burgers were like 15 cents. Remember, Burger King, KFC, all of this, the revolution of Happy Meals and things of this. The fast food became a staple in the 70s and 80s. I mean, that was American modern fast moving story. Okay, I mean, we just don't have time to cook. We need to get in fast food. Okay, nowadays, fast food is fast, but it ain't cheap. I'm looking like, oh man, I can't believe it's this much. Okay. Oh, and how about school days and chalk dust? Oh my goodness. I was the official eraser. The teacher would, give the nerdy kids, they would give them the easy jobs, and I would go out there and you'd do this. Little did I know I'm sucking in all this chalk dust. Okay. All right. And there was so much stuff that's going on in there. You remember? I mean, roll call. Remember? You had to say here, and then assign seating. Ready? Metal lunch boxes. Oh God! And as a matter of fact, we do an episode, 2 episodes. One's on the crazy school days. I think it's episode 4. We do another one on lunch boxes. And I say which lunchbox I had that was the best. Okay, it was great. All right, but yeah, we go through there, and it was just, oh my goodness, it was wonderful. I mean, but as far as that was concerned, the teachers treated me well. The bullies, not so much. Okay, but what did they used to say back then? Oh, that builds character. No, it doesn't. The only thing it builds. Excuse me. The only thing it builds is bruises. Okay. All right. And oh yeah, the rise of fast food, the school days. Oh, how wonderful. Oh God, I remember that. And one more. We'll do one more. Okay. Then we'll call it quits. How about classic cars and cruising nights? Now, we did an episode on deep dive on this one as well. Baby boomers and the need for speed. But, some of the cars, the designs, were just beautiful. And you can buy them at very reasonable prices. I remember my first car, okay, was a 1960 Chevy Impala. Oh, man, it was a gorgeous car. Indigo blue, vinyl black top, tuck and roll interior, okay? And it was my dad's. Do you think he gave it to me? Oh no, I had to buy it for $500 back in 1969. But a beautiful car. I think they're worth now like $55,000, $60,000 in great condition. Mine was a 2-door with the slope back, okay? Because they also made some with a 4-door. And if you're a TV aficionado, so to speak, there's a program called the Continental, and at the very end they show the 4-door. They made 2 different 4-doors, the one with the slope back and the one with the square back. And the square back is very, very rare, but it's still a 4-door. People thrive on the two-door 1960. Those are the ones with the wings. 59 are the ones with they call the cat eyes. Really, they call it cats and bats because it has the wings on it. But oh yeah, and have the 8-track tape player blasting, and let's face it, gas was cheap, and this was a symbol. This was more than just transportation for us. This was a symbol of identity, independence. I mean, this was perfectly captured the thrill of youth in motion. All right, that's what these cars were all about. Oh, geez, I mean, you remember the Mustang, okay, the GTOs, the Novas, the Chevelles. I mean, I could go on and on. Okay, I myself was a bow tie guy. I love Chevys. I still love them, but you cannot beat the style of the 60s Mustang. Okay, especially for me, 1969 Boss 429. Oh man, that was the ultimate. Okay, to me, that was my car. Just a beautiful car. But yeah, episode 11 on Baby Boomers Need for Speed, I think August 20th, 2022, we take a deep dive in all of those cars. But, we're coming close to an end. And let's always remember, too, thinking about the 1960s, which just seemed to be a simpler joys and enduring memories and stuff like that. I mean, even though there was a dark side, a very dark side to the 60s, okay, I see them as wonderful when I say that. I mean, I had a great time. I had a great family life. I mean, we had our bumps, especially a nerdy kid in East LA, but still, it was just wonderful. I had great friends. All right. And so I've always looked at the positive, because to me, you go a lot faster and a lot further looking out the front windshield than looking out the back. Okay. I don't live in the past, because the past, there's nothing I can do about it. But you know what? If I look to the future, at least I have a little bit of control, not much, but at least a little, and I'm looking the right direction. Okay. But let's always remember that in the 60s, we made history, okay? Woodstock, Stonewall, women's movement, environmental movement. We have a lot to be proud of. And so with that, I'd like to thank you for listening, and may God bless.
We'd like to thank you for listening and remind you, if you happen to have any baby boomer topics you'd like us to cover, just email us at growingupboomer@gmail.com. And until next time, may God bless.